If you struggle with balance, I want to be able to provide you 5 different things that you need to focus on to help you with balance. A lot of people think that if all they need to do to work on getting better at balance is to practice balancing. So I'll see many people, including clients, that will try to stand on one foot and see if they can stand on it longer each and every time. And although that will help, we really need to get to the crux of the situation. So these are the 5 things that I work through with my clients to help them see what they may be doing wrong, or what areas may not be firing that are affecting their balance. And this is just the basic 5 that we can go into even more in regards to balance, but this is just like where I start with most of my clients when it comes to balance. So the first one, which is one of the most important things, is your feet. Your feet are your foundation. They need to be strong, they need to be mobile, and many of us don't even think about them. So making sure that you can separate your toes is one of the first things to be able to help you with balance. So if you think about how when you put your foot in shoes all day, they tend to come together. If you have toes overlapping other toes, this is a key indication that you're going to struggle with balance. I know that if I have a client come in whose toes are overlapping, I know they have balance issues. It's just the way it is. So the first thing you need to start doing is working on separating your toes. You can start with just kind of pulling your toes apart with your fingers. You can put a sock, interlace a sock in between your toes. They have these fancy, cool spatial splays that you can put in between your toes now that are like made of this rubbery plastic. Those things are great. All of those things will help with toe separation. Make sure when you first begin with this that you don't go for too long. So about 30 minutes is all I recommend the first time you use them. See what they feel like. If your foot doesn't hurt after those initial 30 minutes, then you can start adding on. But never start immediately like, I'm going to wear them all day, because you're going to be sore. Your feet, your toes are not used to that. Those muscles are going to start having to relax, and they're not used to that. So you want to make sure that you start slow with that. So 30 minutes and then slowly add up from there. The second thing that you want to focus on is inner thigh strengthening. So these are going to be things like plie squats, if you're able to do squats and leg work and things, even like plie squats where you bring one foot together and then the other foot together, side lying, leg lifts, anything that's going to get that inner thigh firing. The inner thigh is also the anchor to the pelvic floor. So these two kind of work together. You need to have strong inner thighs. You need to have strong pelvic floor. It is difficult to have like a strong pelvic floor if your inner thighs aren't strong, and vice versa. So we want to make sure that we get those strong as well. In one exercise that I think is a great exercise is taking a Pilates style ball, placing it in between the knees, and doing different ab exercises, glute exercises, things like that, while working on squeezing your knees towards one another so that those inner thighs are firing. If you can't lay down on the floor for some reason, and you want to begin just by placing a ball in between your knees and squeezing your knees towards each other, trying to press that ball, that is a great start. That is a place to start. So that is the second thing. The third thing that you want to focus on is glute strengthening. This is one that most places that if you go in for balance work, they're going to start working you on glute strengthening. Our glutes are a big muscle that are very imperative for balance. So usually if you go to someone, that's where they're going to start is balance work. Is getting your glutes firing and getting you stronger with that. I would tend to start with the feet, but I do think glute exercises are great. So squats, lunges, deadlifts, step ups, all of these exercises are great for the glutes. You can take these up a level, you can take these down a level. So if you're newer to fitness or not able to do a lot of movement-based exercises, you can still work on strengthening the glutes by holding onto a chair and doing deadlifts and things like that. The thing you need to understand is if you spend a lot of time seated because you lack mobility, you are lengthening the glute while you're sitting. So you will naturally have weaker glutes. So we've got to try to get you up and standing a little bit more so that you can work on strengthening your glutes throughout the day. So that is the third one, right? The fourth one is your deep core. So these are called transverse abdominis muscles. They are the corset muscles that surround your core. You can't see them. They are hidden and tend to be ones that people don't think about when they think about strengthening the core. So this is a lot of like breath work, learning how to fire on those core muscles through breathing. I do have an exercise within my videos. If you search through my stuff for 360 breathing, you will see that I talk about that there. There's also, I believe, maybe 90-90 breathing. I'm not sure if I have that video up, but if you need it, let me know. But these are all very simple exercises. They take a lot for the brain to connect to that deep core line, but they are not difficult to do. They're just difficult to get the muscle to brain connection. So that neuromuscular connection can be a little bit difficult in the beginning, but once you start to get it, it will start to happen naturally. So I would also recommend that deep core strengthening. The last one, I don't believe I ever hear anybody talk about this one, but it is imperative for your balance, and that is your tongue placement, where your tongue is in your mouth. So where should it be? If you say the letter N, as in banana, where the tongue goes in the mouth when you do the N sound, that is where the tongue should naturally sit. It should not touch the teeth, but it should be in the roof of the mouth. When we keep that tongue in the roof of the mouth, it hits this nerve, and I can't think of what the nerve is called, but that nerve kind of helps the head to be in a more aligned position, and it helps with stabilizing the head, which will then in turn help you with spatial awareness and proprioception. So that is the last one that honestly I don't think anybody talks about, but is another one that I always make sure that my clients do have their tongue just resting on the roof of their mouth while we work on balance work, because it can change how you balance. So if this was something that you felt like helped you kind of understand balance a little bit better, make sure to like and subscribe. If you have questions about exercises that I mentioned in here that you'd like a little bit more information about, or you'd like to see what exercises I recommend for each part of balance, let me know. And then you can always head to balanceandmovement.com, where you can work with me in my community where we do movement snacks, and then we have a balance and movement program, and I can help you get better at your balance and movement.